taking the time. This is just a really short demonstration, really about why we're juicing and the benefits of juicing. If you've been to Jason Bale's retreat, you've probably seen it in some shape or form, or if you've read any of the books. But it's the Jason Bale program that I followed, and really the whole hypothesis and why we're juicing is the sort of one disease, one solution. When it comes to lifestyle diseases, so I'm not talking genetic diseases, or but is there, the question to be asked is, when it comes to lifestyle, is it something else that we can look at that's causing the problems? And that we're always led to believe that there's hundreds and thousands of like different diseases with all different symptoms, but actually when you look at it more closely, could it be that there's like one disease and one solution? So what we have here is a little fish. So what I'm trying to recreate is a fish here in a completely pollution-free environment, or its natural environment, I should say. So if it was in the river or the sea, there'd be some plankton and there'd be some other life in the water, but effectively this is a pollution-free zone. And so what I'm going to do is show you what a typical day might look like in somebody's hectic and busy lives, and I get the impression that everyone that's here this week has got the stresses and pressures of work, high pressure work, and running a household and everything else that goes with that as well. So we maybe start our day with some coffee or tea, caffeinated, which you see immediately changes the environment in which we are swimming around in. And then we are very quick to grab one of these very healthy looking Belvita breakfast biscuits. Feel free to add in at any point. So we're eating on the hoof and we break one of those Belvita biscuits again. So it'd be quite interesting to see what happens to that Belvita biscuit in a moment. So we see already that the pollution in which the fish is, the environment in which the fish is swimming around in is already starting to look a bit murky and suspect. So we get to, let's go mid-morning, and if it's not having another coffee, maybe a latte with some sugar. I don't know, does anyone have sugar in their tea or coffee? Third of a teaspoon. So we get to mid-morning and we maybe have a Diet Coke to keep us going for the morning. So as you can see, this is getting sort of darker and a bit more murky in here. And our Belvita is doing what it's supposed to do. It's all starting to float to the top suspiciously. And then we've got lunchtime. So we grab a sandwich. Should have opened this beforehand. I don't know. Do people normally have a sandwich for lunchtime?
Mostly.
When they're in the office? What do you normally have with your
salad? Salad, yeah.
It's rather a large sandwich. Baguette maybe. So the reason I wanted to use this bread as well, and I appreciate its strength, is that it's white refined, so there's very, very little fibre in here. It's got an A score rating in terms of nutrition. Yeah. So
is that because it's got no sugar added? Is that?
Well, yes. Supposedly there's no sugar added in there, but then as we know that basically carbohydrate breaks down to single sugars. So I mean, it's almost farcical to say that you've got white bread that has no sugar in there. But another thing that we went into quite a lot of discussion about this last week is food labelling, you know, and how misleading it can be of foods that we think are healthy and sort of, oh, that's fine, we'll grab that, you know, and we're all led to believe that, particularly in the UK, that it's, government would never allow us to be eating food that's got anything that isn't good for us, and they can't label it unless it's labelled appropriately. I think it's always worth just taking a look at these, and remember the way they package these things to make it all look appetising and it's healthy. And so, but if you just take a look at the ingredients, I know they're in French, but it's just really the number of ingredients that have gone into these products, and then they're all packaged in plastic, and they've normally got a shelf life of something like 2 years, but in reality they'll probably last for a lot longer. So we get to mid-afternoon, might be feeling a bit tired, might be thinking, oh God, just need to pick me up about 3 o'clock. So we have a Mars bar to help you work, rest and play. Just put that in as well. So as you can see now, this environment in which the fish is swimming is really starting to look not particularly pleasant. And the other thing is that the Velveeta sort of biscuits have all they're coming up in like little globules at the top of the bowl there, which is mixing with the bread, but they're coming up in these. Maybe we'll give them a bit more time. But we discovered last week they sort of come up in these weird. Yes, which looks completely unnatural. Excuse me. So, anyway, we keep swimming. So the fish can still swim around in this, if you imagine this isn't yourself, but this is, the fish is still swimming around quite happily. Anyway, time to, but you might be feeling a bit sluggish, obviously, things are sort of. Anyway, get the commute home done. We might have a little biscuit in the afternoon as well. Again, look at the packaging. Bon maman means grandma. So it's like grandma's cooking, again, massively processed, and like the ingredients on there. Just taking a look at this in as well. Then we get home, and of course we've had a hard day, everything's commute, hard day at work, so we have a glass of wine. Probably not one glass, most of us have more than one glass. That smells funny. So this is now, as you can see, that the environment is really polluted. Now, the fish, like us, has an excellent filtration system provided for by nature. So our body can cope with an awful lot of what you put in, and that's not necessarily just food, but our environment and any other thing, and drinks, food, and the environment in which we're in. But there's a capacity for the fish's filtration system and for our own filtration system as well. So if you think of it a little bit like a warehouse has a capacity to store a certain number of boxes, and it receives a number of boxes every day. Let's say you've got 2 guys working in your warehouse, and you receive 10 boxes every day. And those 2 guys can quite happily clear those 10 boxes that come in every day. But if you start overloading those 2 guys in your warehouse, they're having to work harder and harder, and they've only got a limited capacity. So it's a bit like the fish's filtration system and a bit like our own filtration system. It can only clear the boxes in a certain amount of time. And if you keep bringing in more and more boxes, and you start bringing in large loads of boxes, they're just going to get left outside, for argument's sake, and they're not going to get cleared, and they're just going to get stored and start piling up and piling up and piling up. So as those boxes start piling up, and as our environment starts to be a bit more polluted, more and more polluted, we might start to notice some symptoms. It could start with a bit of indigestion. So the first thing, of course, we do is go for a Rennie. Rennie into the mix as well. You never think about what might be causing the problem. We just think, oh, that's fine, we'll just take a Rennie, that will solve the problem. And Rennies do make any acid indigestion or acid reflux go away. And that's the good thing about the over-the-counter pharmaceuticals. might start having headaches. Might be, I don't know, does anybody suffer with headaches during the day or? Yeah. Well, it was interesting last week because we were saying, one of the ladies was saying she had a few headaches, and I was saying I was shocked when my friends during lockdown, you know, when there was the toilet roll sort of shortages and everything, I had like 2 or 3 friends saying, I can't get hold of paracetamols, I need paracetamols. So it was like, oh my goodness, I mean, I don't know how old these paracetamols are that we've broken, but I didn't even appreciate how many people in the UK are taking paracetamols or Anodin or aspirin on such a regular basis, to the point where people are actually worried that they'd be running out. So again, this is really to just show that we're treating the symptoms, and of course if you take a paracetamol, you take a high dosage 600 milligram Anodin, it will make the pain dissolve, but it's basically just masking over what's causing that. So fish is swimming around here. He's had a bit of a stomach ache. Oh, but I get used to the stomach ache, or I get used to if I have a meal in the evening. I'm used to like that I get acid indigestion when I go to bed, or I'm used to having a headache at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I pop a pill. Now it could be that you develop a cough or sore throat, and oh, I always every couple of months or every 3 months. Yeah, that's normal. That's me. That's maybe take some mixture. And they have actually proven that honey is, if you suffer with a sore throat at all, that actually honey is just as good for a sore throat or a cough. But the point here is that all these over-the-counter tablets and pills are adding to the pollution and the toxicity. So they're all making your liver work harder to clean and cleanse and filter your system. So, and then the further down the road you get, you might start developing something more serious in terms of skin diseases, eczema, breathing problems, and it all comes back to this: what is the cause and what's actually causing these problems? So we get to the evening, a little bit later on. Oh, I need a pick me up. And I was actually shocked that people actually have Red Bull in the evening. Sort of, but anyway, so we've got, does anybody here drink Red Bull?
No.
Yeah, it's such a horrible smell, isn't it?
So sick.
So again, so in this environment, and again, I'm not, even if you don't relate to this and you sort of say, I don't have coffee and I don't have tea and I don't drink Red Bull, just be mindful of the environment that your body is actually in. So it's swimming around here. And then again, we might start to feel joint pains, neck pains, and we're popping more and more. So you could be on an anti-inflammatory if you've got joint pains. Again, you might go to the doctor and say, I've got this ache or that ache, and he'll prescribe you something. And we also then fool ourselves and, oh, well, it's my age. Oh, this is normal. This is typical. Well, there's plenty of people that are living well into their 70s and 80s that aren't suffering with aches and pains. So it's really coming back to the environment in which we're living and the environment in which our cells bathe, so that's our body internally, and how overloaded our system is and how efficiently our body can clear and filtrate. So the reason for a juice detox is to fundamentally clear the pollution, remove the toxicity and replace the deficiency. Because in all these foods, all these heavily processed foods, you're removing all of anything cooked basically is going to remove all the natural enzymes, natural vitamins in the food. So you're having a lower level of quality of nutrition, much lower level of quality of nutrition. And the lower the quality of the nutrition, the harder it is for your body to work for you to clear the toxins that are coming in. So on the basis of a juice detox, you're removing the toxicity and replacing the deficiencies. And what they've actually proven, and it's even with the World Health Organization, has said that 85% of diseases, modern diseases, are caused by lifestyle, the basis of lifestyle. So I've just checked my notes and think I've covered everything. Yes, so what we're really trying to do this week is to clear the environment and replace the deficiencies in top view. So the other important thing, and there's a really good book, and now that it's a bit cooler this week, it's worth reading. It's only like 60 pages. It's all about enzymes in raw food. So our body produces our own enzymes for digesting. So your liver and your pancreas are producing enzymes to break down and digest the food. But what they've now proven is that when we eat raw food, fresh fruits and vegetables, the enzymes are actually still in the vegetables and they help us to digest our food. So it prevents your body having to overproduce to help digest the food. Just trying to think how I was leading into that. So the more that that's it. So we are born with a limited number of enzymes when we're born. And by the age of 27, we're about halfway through our stock of enzymes as an average current life. So your body at about 27 to 30 starts to think, hold on, I need to be limiting how I'm using my enzymes. And then, so your body starts to produce less, or it starts to overproduce, and it's putting strain. And we've all got, in Western society, increased size pancreas, of where they've gone back to medieval man or caveman age, and that the pancreas, and when they've looked at animals as well, who are living on just raw vegetable diets, are so much smaller than the human pancreas. And it's like any gland in your body, when it's having to excessively work, it becomes enlarged. And that's why I'm saying, if you do eat a high processed diet, or you tend to reach for a Belvita or white bread, any bread that comes in a plastic bag is quite highly processed. Even if you just have a green juice every day or a green smoothie, that's still really going to help your body to process and get rid of those toxins. So that's sort of as short and sweet and simple as it is.